top 10 week of American Idol is behind us, and it was Disney week, Steven's favorite.
And along with top 10 week being behind us, also behind us are Michelle, Sussett, Dennis, Lorenzo, and Ada Vox. I don't think there were any that was a big surprise because they were all judges' saves. Are you upset about anyone leaving?
I'm disappointed that Dennis was eliminated. I don't understand why Dennis was eliminated over Jurnee. Actually, I do understand because I think Jurnee has more of an attraction towards her, more of a fan base. But I think Dennis is better.
Well, some people were saying that because Dennis went last, people didn't have enough time to vote for him.
That's true. That's not really fair.
So it's like kind of a reverse thing where if you went last before this new thing that it was really good, but now it might be really bad. But either way, I don't think it makes much of a difference because I think that the judges' picks were very far behind the ones who were voted in last week anyway. But I mean, we'll see if Jurnee can survive another week. I'll have to see the performance too. But I don't think it was a shock that those were any really shocks. The only shocking thing is that Michelle actually sounded good this week.
She was good, and I will be the first to say Michelle Sussett, that was good. Remember Me from Coco? You know we love Coco. That was good. And then of course she freaking gets eliminated.
Well, she was good, but let's not overstep our boundaries. She's been off for a few weeks. I don't think she deserved to stay based on that performance and eliminate someone that has been more consistent. But anyway, on to the people who are still in the competition. For me this week, two people stole the show, and the one person who always steals the show from me is Maddie.
I love you, Poppe. I love you, Poppe.
I love you, Poppe. I love you, Poppe. Anyway.
By the way, Steven started a fan base name for her, Poppy Seeds.
Yeah, Poppy Seeds.
We're the Poppy Seeds.
Maddie fans are Poppy Seeds. She started off the show with Bare Necessities, and when I saw the song choice at first, I was like, is she gonna do okay? That song's a little bit But with her little ukulele and her little lilting voice, she showed us something new, in that not only did she have that soft, sweet voice, but she had a powerful riff towards the middle of the song and proved that she's not all just cutesy, little lilting voice and she can't go up there. She has some power in her vocals, and it's really rare to find someone who's as creative as her with that type of voice, who also has the power and the consistency in hitting notes. And every time she sings, it's just like heaven in my ears.
I completely agree.
It's just like sweet honey in my ears. And
I completely agree. And dare I say it, I think she's the best remaining vocalist specifically. I know there's a lot that what makes up an American Idol and what makes a performer and a singer, but vocally, I think she has the best voice of the remaining.
Well, she definitely has my favorite voice. And I was so nervous yesterday, just worried about her, and I haven't been really invested for the last few seasons of Idol, but I really, really just love her voice. I love her personality. She's been consistent. The only one I think that hasn't bored me or disappointed me in any week. I mean, I love some of the others, but they've always had a week where they were kind of like, for me. But Maddie, for weeks straight now, has been cruising in my book. Whether that means I think she'll win or go home next week, I think there's probably a better possibility of the latter, unfortunately. But I'm going to enjoy it while I can and keep voting. The other one who blew me away this week was Michael Woodard, and he is someone who also I've liked, and he's been consistent for the last few weeks too. He sang Titanium last week, which was really good. Then he sang Believe in Yourself from The Wiz, which was really good. Then he sang Beauty and the Beast this week, which was also really good, and
made me cry.
Even moved Rebecca to tears.
It made me cry. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a really touching performance, and his tone is very recognizable and very sweet, and I love his personality. It's like silly, and I mean, everybody was saying he's like an angel, and I think that he's resonating with a lot of people. Like he seems very real, and besides that, he also has a really great voice, and I think, behind Maddie, he'd be my second favorite now because he's also been very consistent. I will say he had a few performances that were like a little put me to sleep for a few weeks, but he's also been really consistent, and he could be a dark horse, maybe. Possibly.
Maybe.
Rebecca had one that she trumped over my two for this week, so why don't you talk about that?
I am a Cade fan all the way, and I actually predicted that he was gonna sing Kiss the Girl, and when I said I think he should sing Kiss the Girl, Steve said no, that would be weird, but I think he had an amazing arrangement of that song. And listening to it, I know one of the judges mentioned this, it might have actually been Luke Bryan. Was it Luke Bryan? But he had a moment with that song where it seemed like it was something that could actually be a hit on its own. That was my reaction to it. And oh yeah, he's good. He's good.
I definitely think Cade is a front runner, and I think he's good. It's not that I don't think he's good. And I watched the performance a few times because the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I was right. That was weird.
It gave me the feel.
And I was listening again and again, and I think the arrangement was cool.
It was nostalgic.
I just think like maybe it was the vocals that didn't do it for me. I don't know. It was very strange for me. I felt like I was in another world watching it.
It depends on what you like to listen to. Like I like more grungy type of voices.
Yeah, I don't like
Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, and listening to Cade sing that 1989 song in that arrangement. It reminded me of a grungy song from the 90s. It was very nostalgic for me and romantic.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I listened a few times because we are filming this the day after this happened. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I guess we have different styles. I think he's definitely a front runner. He might be the front runner, although I'm not sure. But my mom said he should have sang Tarzan because he looked like Tarzan with the hair and everything. But he's definitely a front runner, so I wouldn't worry about him at least for a few weeks.
Yeah. Somebody that disappointed at least me this week, who is one of my favorites. She still is one of my favorites. Gabby. I don't know about that Colors of the Wind performance. If she had maybe changed the arrangement to be country, I don't know. It didn't work. It just wasn't my favorite from her.
I think with Gabby, I think she also is. I'm not sure if she's like the front runner, but there's a lot of buzz around her, certainly. For some of her performances. I think specifically her strongest moments were when she sang the duet with Sugarland, when she sang Stay, and when she sang Little Red Wagon last week.
Yeah.
So which means she definitely has the chops to be a performer and a vocalist, but I think her problem is when she sings alone in these like one-on-one performances, she just picks very basic songs. She picked The Climb last week, sang it well. She picked Colors of the Wind this week, sang it pretty well, maybe not perfect, but I still thought the vocal was pretty on point. I just think she needs to stop picking these basic B songs because I think she's better than that, which she proved with Little Red Wagon and when she sang Stay. Those are both country songs, I guess, which I guess is kind of her lane. But this will be a big test for her this week because it's going to be Prince week and she can't sing a complete country song, but she's also going to need to step out of that basic comfort zone. I don't know if there's a Prince song that you could pick that is as basic as Colors of the Wind or The Climb. So it's going to be a big test to see how she does. And speaking of big tests, my prediction for who's going to win, not that I want to win, but Caleb is the only country boy left, and America's got a thing for country boys.
Can't deny
and
that.
If you're singing You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story and you're dedicating it to your chocolate lab at home.
See, if it was a yellow lab, then maybe I would have voted for him. No, I'm kidding.
Then there's no way he was going home this week. And if I had my wish, and probably if Rebecca had her wish, we would send Caleb and Jurnee home this week and have a great top 5 of Maddie, Cade, Michael, Catie, and Gabby. but I just don't know if it's gonna happen. I just think he has a strong fan base, and not to say he's bad, because I think he did have he had a very strong performance this week. I think this is the first time I really liked him.
I just feel like I've seen this before. He reminds me a lot of Scotty McCreery.
Yeah, we have seen this before, and that's the thing. Scotty McCreery won by like a landslide. Like every single week, I feel like he won by a landslide. Like I don't even think it was close.
I guess a lot of viewers are country music fans.
Right. So I do
but
think...
But it didn't seem like it started off that way when the show first started.
No, it does.
It's just that it changed over time.
No, and I don't think people saw Scotty as a real contender at first either. And I don't think people are taking Caleb seriously that he's a real contender. I think people are looking more at Cade and Gabby, and they're thinking, oh, this is like Carrie Underwood and blah, blah, blah. That's what I see a lot of people on the blogosphere saying. You know, it's a different type of voting. It's a different type of system now, so maybe I'll be wrong. And he isn't horrible. There isn't anyone in the competition left that I think that we really just can't stand. I think everyone left has some talent.
Yeah.
Although we do think that Jurnee has been off a few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever lived up to her full potential. Everyone else has had a true, really good performance that I think we've tuned into. I don't know if I could say that about Jurnee.
Before we wrap, though,
we did forget to mention one contestant.
I want to talk about Catie, and I want to talk about these judges.
All right, let's talk about Catie first. I said a few weeks ago when Catie made it to the top 14 that her and Michael are both like those silly, funny contestants, and Catie, like, her performances weren't up to par. But I'll say this, ever since last week when she got in and she sang Havana, and then this week she sang Once Upon a Dream, I thought she's been great. I think, you know, she's still keeping that funny personality. I know some people find it annoying, but I think it's hilarious. And her Twitter is, like, insane. It's just...
It's beautiful. It's a masterpiece.
It's
you have to check it out.
It's just so funny. It's
just a work of art. It belongs in a museum.
Self-deprecating and everything. But she also has the vocal chops. I think her vocal performance this week was beautiful. And I was expecting, when I saw the song choice, I was like, oh, she's going to sing a nice little lilting guitar acoustic cover of this, and then I saw her without the guitar. I'm like, what are you doing? Get the guitar! And then,
but I liked it.
Yeah, her vocals were really good, and she gave a really strong performance, and she actually proved that she deserves to be there, other than just for her personality.
Yeah.
And I do think she has a lot of fans. So I think that she is, if she keeps on turning in really good performances and has other people voting for her, she could be another contender.
She could be in it to win it. Remember that?
I think, even though Maddie and Michael are my favorites, I think Catie, Cade, Gabby, and Caleb are the ones that I think really have a chance at winning, in my opinion, which saddens me because
Maddie, we love you.
Anyway, Rebecca wants to talk about the judges.
Okay, I gave it a pass during Hollywood Week, and then the weeks following, but these judges don't give criticisms. All they give is compliments. And sometimes, like Steven was mentioning before we started recording, Katy Perry, once in a while, she'll say something semi-critique, but really, no. It's really just compliments, and I don't really like that because it leaves no suspense. We hear the end of a performance, and then we just know they're just going to praise it. It's like, what are they even there for? They're just props. And I know that this is a better season than I think we're used to having. There's usually some stinkers, like I like to say, or there's usually some, you know, poor song choices in these seasons. But this season is especially strong, so that might be why. But I still feel you could always find something, some kind of feedback to give these people to help them improve, and it's very absent.
Well, I think there's two things going on here. In top 14 week, I do think Catie was critical when she needed to be. The top 4 performances, she was like saying a little nice things, but she was also saying like, I feel like your vocals weren't up to par. I feel like you got to tell the people in the back that they need to calm their nerves and all these things. She was saying that, which is good. Lionel, I liked him during the auditions, but right now it's just kind of like, I mean, I still like him as a person, but he doesn't seem like he'll ever say anything critical or anything less than like, you're amazing. And he was telling, but the strange thing is, which I mentioned to Rebecca, after Michelle's performance, they said, Catie and Luke both said, we got to be honest with you, like the last few weeks your vocals weren't up to the performance, sort of like your performance level was above the vocals, which is like saying like it's like they think we have amnesia, and it's like we know like the last few weeks you didn't say that to her.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna, unless they say it behind the scenes?
It's like it's scripted.
Right.
Which wouldn't be the craziest thing.
Yeah, but I mean that's true. But then why didn't you say that to her in the moment so she could work on improving her vocals, or so you could tell, you know, the fan base that like, listen, this wasn't as good as the others. And right now there's no, the thing like people hated Simon, but at least with Simon you could tell who was really good that night and who wasn't so great and who was okay. Like in these seasons it's very hard, and I think especially this season it's very hard to tell who actually gave in really good performances and not really good performances, because I think at this point, like with the way the voting goes, it's kind of hard to say you're voting on that performance when, you know, you're voting and the results are that night. So the voting isn't opened at the end of the show as it used to be. Like, vote on your favorite performance. Here's a recap in case you forgot. It's, you could vote as soon as the show starts.
Yeah. So,
you know, I know my favorite's Maddie, and if she goes out there and farts on stage, I've already voted for her 20 times. It doesn't matter. So I think right now it's becoming like, it's gonna be hard for any dark horses or anyone who doesn't have that fan base
the battery's gonna die on the camera.
to build distance. So apparently the battery's about to die. But who did you like this week? Did you think the right people went home? Is there anyone you would have replaced with the people who went home? Do you think there's anyone who could stop a white guy with guitar finale, or are we destined to see Cade and Caleb duke it out in the strangest duo ever?
Let us know down in the comments.
And remember, vote Maddie.
Vote Maddie. And just so you guys know, Loud Quiet Vids also does other type of videos. We do a lot of movie reviews and different entertainment style videos. We just recently reviewed Black Panther finally, and you'll see that review in the end screen if you are interested in that. So we hope we will see you soon, and we'll see you next week on Idle Banter for sure. So see you next time.